The Statue of Liberty is one of the most recognizable symbols in the world, widely known as a powerful monument that represents freedom, human rights, and the shared ideals of many nations. For more than 100 years, the statue has welcomed ships and people arriving from distant continents, standing proudly at the entrance of New York Harbor as a silent guardian. Throughout history, countless travelers and immigrants have seen the statue as their first glimpse of America, associating it with hope, opportunity, and the promise of a better future. Yet the story of this iconic monument began long before it became part of the American landscape or a defining feature of the New York City skyline. The origins of the Statue of Liberty trace back to France in the mid-19th century, during a period marked by political change, social movements, and growing democratic ideas. At that time, many French thinkers deeply admired the American experiment in democracy and viewed the United States as a symbol of political freedom. The idea emerged to create a monumental gift from France to the United States, celebrating both friendship and shared democratic values between the two nations. This gift was intended not only as a gesture of goodwill, but also as a lasting symbol of liberty that would inspire future generations. The statue was designed to represent universal ideals such as freedom, independence, and the enduring struggle for human rights across the world. French historian Édouard de La Boulaye formally proposed the idea, believing that a monument could powerfully express the meaning of freedom through art. La Boulaye hoped the statue would serve as a reminder of liberty during a time when democratic values were under threat in many countries. He strongly believed that the United States embodied the principles of democracy and self-governance that many societies aspired to achieve. In his vision, the monument would stand as a symbol not just for America, but for all people who valued freedom. From the beginning, the statue was meant to be large enough to be seen from great distances, even by ships approaching the harbor. Its immense scale was intended to leave a lasting impression and inspire awe in all who saw it rising above the water. Sculptor Frédéric Auguste Bartholdi was selected to transform this ambitious concept into a physical and artistic reality. Bartholdi embraced the challenge of designing a statue that could communicate powerful ideas without words or written explanation. He searched for an image that would be instantly understandable and emotionally meaningful to people from different cultures. Classical art and ancient statues strongly influenced his work, especially representations of strong, dignified human figures. Bartholdi ultimately envisioned a robed female figure standing upright, holding a torch high above her head as a guiding light. The raised torch symbolized enlightenment and freedom, representing knowledge leading humanity away from oppression and darkness. The calm and determined expression of the statue was designed to convey strength, stability, and quiet confidence. According to some accounts, Bartholdi may have used his own mother as inspiration for the statue's facial features. Before full-scale construction began, a detailed small clay model of the statue was carefully sculpted and studied. This model allowed the artist and engineers to analyze proportions, balance, and overall visual impact from multiple angles. Over time, the statue was gradually enlarged using a step-by-step process that increased complexity at every stage. Each enlargement introduced new engineering challenges that required careful planning and innovative technical solutions. Even the folds of the statue's robe had to be precisely calculated to ensure structural stability and visual harmony. As the project progressed, it became clear that the final statue would be unlike anything previously constructed. Traditional building methods were no longer sufficient, making advanced engineering absolutely necessary for success. Engineer Gustav Eiffel was invited to participate in the project because of his advanced understanding of metal structures and his ability to solve complex engineering problems. Eiffel approached the statue not as a solid object, but as a flexible structure that needed to withstand wind, weather, and long-term environmental stress. He designed an internal iron skeleton that would carry the weight of the statue while supporting the thin copper exterior panels. This internal framework allowed the statue to move slightly in strong winds without cracking or suffering permanent structural damage. Such an approach was revolutionary for its time and represented a major advancement in architectural engineering and monument construction. The metal joints connecting the structure were carefully calculated to balance strength and flexibility throughout the entire statue. Every piece of the internal frame was handcrafted, assembled manually, and tested to ensure it met strict safety requirements. Engineers and craftsmen worked closely together to align artistic vision with practical structural needs. The completed metal skeleton became the invisible backbone of the statue, supporting its enormous size and weight. Without this innovative framework, constructing such a massive statue would have been impossible using 19th century technology. The experience gained during this project later influenced Eiffel's approach to other world-famous engineering achievements. Once the internal structure was complete, attention turned to creating the statue's outer surface using thin sheets of copper. Copper was chosen because it was lightweight, durable, and resistant to corrosion caused by weather and sea air. Craftsmen shaped each copper sheet by hand using a traditional hammering technique known as repoussé. Wooden molds were used to guide the shaping process and ensure each panel matched the intended design precisely. Thousands of individual copper pieces were produced, each forming a small but essential part of the final statue. These pieces were carefully labeled to ensure they could later be assembled in the correct order. The statue's head required especially careful work due to its size, complexity, and expressive facial features. The torch was another highly complex element, as it carried strong symbolic meaning and structural importance. The statue was designed with interior walkways, allowing workers to access different sections for construction and maintenance.